You know that one tree in your yard that feels like part of the family? Well, imagine your HOA sending you an official letter demanding you cut it down, threatening daily fines if you refuse. That's exactly what happened to me. But what the HOA didn't realize was that the tree wasn't even on their land. Stick around, because what started as a petty demand turned into one of the biggest wake-up calls this HOA has ever faced. It all started on a Monday morning when I opened my mailbox and saw a letter stamped with that dreaded HOA logo. Inside was a notice. My tree was a safety hazard. I had 14 days to cut it down. If I refused, I'd face $100 per day in fines. Now, this wasn't just any tree. It was a giant oak that had stood long before I bought the property. It gave my house shade, my kids climbed it in the summer, and my father even built a swing on one of its branches. Cutting it down felt unthinkable. But the HOA didn't care. They wanted it gone. I called the HOA office immediately. I said, "Why are you telling me to cut down my tree? It's healthy and nowhere near the road." Their response? Cold. They claimed the roots were encroaching on HOA property and could cause sidewalk damage. When I asked for proof, they brushed me off. By the end of the week, I had 2 more letters and a final warning. They even hinted at placing a lien on my home if I didn't comply. At this point, I knew I had 2 choices: roll over and lose my tree, or fight back. I decided to dig into the property lines. I went to the county assessor's office and pulled up the official plat map. And that's when I noticed something the HOA clearly hadn't checked. The tree in question wasn't even inside HOA-maintained property. In fact, the trunk sat entirely on city-owned land, right at the edge of the easement. That meant the HOA had absolutely no authority over it. Just to be safe, I requested a surveyor to confirm. He came out, measured everything, and handed me a report proving that the tree belonged to the city. Armed with the survey, I attended the next HOA meeting. When the president smugly brought up my violation, I slid the paperwork across the table. I said, "Here's the county map and a professional survey. This tree isn't mine, and it's definitely not yours. It's on city property." The room went silent. One of the board members tried to argue, but the evidence was undeniable. To make things worse for them, I had already contacted the city's Parks and Forestry Department, and they confirmed in writing. The tree was protected. The HOA had no say in removing it. In fact, attempting to cut it down without city approval could result in fines against the HOA itself. The look on their faces? Priceless. The HOA quietly dropped all fines and letters. But the story didn't end there. Other homeowners, who'd faced similar baseless demands, started questioning the board's actions too. People began showing up to meetings, asking for proof, asking for maps, and demanding accountability. The president, who had a habit of bullying residents with empty threats, suddenly lost her grip on the community. By the end of the year, a new election was held. 3 of the most aggressive board members were voted out, replaced with people who actually listened to homeowners. And my oak tree? It's still standing tall, healthier than ever, a living reminder that sometimes the HOA isn't as powerful as it pretends to be. So here's the lesson. Always check the facts before you let an HOA push you around. They count on homeowners being too scared or uninformed to fight back. But sometimes, with a little research and a few documents, you can flip the script entirely. And in my case, what they thought was their victory turned out to be their downfall.